All right, so we just took our 5-minute break and we left off talking about the trash container and how it's important to be sanitary with it. Small one works just fine. You can get it, again, TJ Maxx Home Goods, save some money. Know that some of them can break down. If your trash can breaks, throw it out. Don't be that person that's gonna be lifting the lid up. You know, that only puts you at risk for contamination. Also know that another reason for the self-closing lid is that if you have products that are soaked in acetone, that will produce an odor because it's volatile. You want to make sure that lid is closed. That prevents any additional vapors from escaping so the whole salon doesn't stink. The next optional material is, I shouldn't say next optional material because you must have a trash can. This is optional. It's your supply tray. It's a sturdy tray. It holds cosmetics such as polishes, polish removers, and creams. It should be sturdy and easy to clean. Most technicians will put every product they need on a service tray and then lift the specific tray on and off a shelf in their station. This allows the tabletop to be clean, easy to disinfect. The tray should also be cleaned and disinfected between clients. So it's just one extra thing to wash if you decide to have one, but know that it can be a lot easy. So if you know that the client's coming in, you can get everything ready in their tray, pull it out, put it on the tray, put the stuff back on the tray, and then take it off. That way you're able to clean everything. The next one. This is optional. Ultraviolet or electric nail polish dryer. You want to know that a nail polish dryer is designed to shorten the time necessary for the client's nail polish to dry. Electric dryers have heaters and fans that blow warm air onto the nail plates and speed evaporations of solvents from the nail polishes, allowing them to harden more quickly. Nail polish dryers that use light bulbs create warmth to speed drying and work the same fashion as electric dryers but without fans. Ultraviolet polish dryers are designed to cure polishes that contain an ingredient sensitive to UVA wavelengths of the bowl in the dryer. Exposure to this wavelength triggers the curing and drying of the polish. Electric hand, foot, and mitts are optional. These are heated mitts which are available for both hand and feet, and they're designed to be used during the paraffin treatment. So typically what you'll do is when you finish the polish, everything's dry, you'll massage their hand, give them a nice massage with the treatment cream, have them dip their hand in the paraffin bath and put these electric mitts on. And the mitts are just so relaxing, your client can sit back and relax. Some clients that are getting a pedicure can get it done at the same time. It really depends on how you're running your spa or salon. The electric ones are nice because you can plug them in, they heat up. The client's hand is covered by a plastic bag to prevent the paraffin from leaking out and creating a mess. It also prevents the skin from touching the actual mitt. That way you don't have to take the electric mitt and wash it, which is impossible. You also have terry cloth mitts, which are different. Those you can wash. Typically you don't have to if the bag is covering the client's arm. Your terry cloth mitts you'll strap around the client's thing. It look like oven mitts. So you'll have the client that dips their hand in paraffin, you'll put the plastic bag on, and you'll put the mitts on that traps the heat. And what that does is the paraffin will help to open up the skin and allow that massage or treatment cream to go in there, and the paraffin bakes it in there. And it's so relaxing for the client. And when you take the mitts off, you can take the paraffin and it peels right off. Their hand looks nice and massaged, revived. Their nails look nice and fresh. It's a really great thing. And it's also one of the services too. The paraffin one is typically what makes it a spa manicure or spa pedicure. It's an additional service. It's just so relaxing. It sounds fancy, and clients always like to get it as an add-on. It's a great way to get a few bucks on added to your ticket. Also know that when you're doing services, read that Did You Know box. You want to prepare implements correctly. Typically you want to buy several sets, at least 3 as a minimum, sets of good quality implements, because you can't be using the same implements, wash them, let them dry, and then take someone else. You'll be there forever and it will waste your time and you're going to lose money that way. You want, let's see. Oh, this is something different. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh my gosh. So you want to properly clean your implements and prepare them before you place them in a disinfection solution. Typically you'll have a little nail brush there. You'll keep separately near the sink. You'll scrub it with soap and water, clean everything off, clean any visible debris off, and then disinfect them in the solution. If you just take your implements that have nail dust on it, debris on it, and you just throw them in your disinfectant, it's not going to work as efficient because this material is going to be too strong. It'll actually lessen the effectiveness of disinfection. Paraffin bath. This is going to be optional if you decide to purchase. If you purchase the paraffin bath, you want to pick one or the other with electric mitts or terry cloth mitts. Your paraffin bath, or what you're going to want the mitts for, it's a tub that has an automatic thermostat and it maintains the paraffin at the ideal temperature for application to the hands and feet. Paraffin is a petroleum byproduct that has excellent sealing properties, barrier qualities to hold moisture in the skin, and it can be added to manicures and pedicures for an extra charge. You can apply paraffin in many different ways. The traditional method is to dip the hands and feet into the paraffin bath. The paraffin coating covers the skin, holding the natural moisture in the epidermal layers, thus promoting moisturization of the skin and deeper penetration of other products that have been used on the skin prior to paraffin. Know that you want to check regulations in your state concerning paraffin baths. Typically, it sounds kind of gross to have them dip their own feet in the paraffin bath. That's why I'm like, So here's how you get around that. Or if you have a client that has a cut on their finger, you don't want them having that open cut and going into the bath. You get a spoon. It could be, any kind of metal or, even a high quality plastic spoon that won't melt. You have their bag, put the bag on their hands, and you take the paraffin, pour it in there, and try to let it get around their hand. You can also do it in a metal bowl. That way you're not like smushing it all over the bag, but typically the bag works fine, especially for the feet. You pour it in the bag, have the client put their feet in there, massage around, make sure the paraffin gets on there, and then let it cure for a bit with the mitts on. That works just as well. We had a client that had very severe OCD, and she literally washed the skin away on her fingers. It was raw and bleeding and cracked, and we could not risk having her put it in the bath because that would contaminate it. I haven't known a state where paraffin's illegal. If you know one that is, comment down below, but I know that in Jersey and New York it's fine. Implements. These implements are going to be defined as tools used to perform your services, and they're either reusable or disposable. Reusable implements are also known as multi-use implements. They're generally stainless steel because they must be properly cleaned and disinfected after use on one client prior to use on another. Less expensive nickel-plated implements will corrode during disinfection, so always make sure you're getting high-quality stainless steel. Disposable implements are also known as single-use implements. Like the name suggests, they're not going to be used again and again. They have to be thrown out. So some examples, cotton. If I take a cotton pad, I'm throwing it out. I'm not going to take the cotton pad, wash it with soap and water. That would be just disgusting. Right? So you throw them away. It's recommended a cosmetologist have several clean and disinfected service sets of implements available for use at all times. So what I meant to read before, but I somehow mixed up, was this other Did You Know box. Most cosmetologists will keep at a minimum of 3 implements. They have the disinfected ones, so these sets can be wrapped in a clean towel, stored in a clean place, or they can be inserted into a sterile pouch before being autoclaved. Open implements in front of your clients at the start of each service so the client can see that they have been disinfected prior to arrival. That sets you apart, and you can even say, hey, look, I just disinfected these are nice and clean, open it. That creates an impression, right? Our nonverbal behavior of us opening that jar will show them, oh wow, they're serious about this. Wow, my last nail place never did that. So now that we covered that, we're gonna jump into reusable implements. Typically, a lot of these are things you've heard before: metal pusher, nippers, tweezers, and nail clippers. Your disposable implements are going to be brushes and applicators, wooden pusher, nail brush, applicator brush, and you have some other materials that are used that are also not reusable, such as your files. 2 or 3-way buffer, single-use terry cloth towels, gauze, cotton balls, plastic back pads, and plastic metal spatulas. So for our reusable implements, we're going to start with those first. Your metal pusher, which is often incorrectly called a cuticle pusher. Don't know why they call it that. It's designed to gently scrape the cuticle tissue from the natural nail plate. It is not used to push back the epinecium. Metal pushers must be stainless steel and used carefully to prevent damage to the natural nail and natural nail matrix. Improper use on the nail can cause a permanent grooving in the nail, possible nail growth problems if the matrix is damaged. Improper or careless use of the metal pusher can cause microscopic trauma or injury to tissues. These injuries are known as microtrauma. Microtraumas are defined as tiny, often unseen openings in the skin which allow microbes to enter the skin, leading to infection. So with a microtrauma, you might not even get a blood. It might be one of those things where you scrape yourself and go, oh, ow, and it's like a graze. You still have an opening in the skin, and though you're not seeing it, you could have bacteria invade it. So if you have rough or sharp edges on your metal pusher, use an abrasive to smooth or remove them. This prevents digging into the nail plate or damaging the protective barriers created by the epinecium and cuticle. Hold the metal pusher the way you hold a pencil, with the flat end held at a 20 or 30 degree angle from nail plate. The spoon end is used to carefully loosen or push back dead cuticle tissue on the nail plate. Your nipper is going to be a stainless steel implement used to carefully trim away dead skin around the nails. It is never used to cut, rip, or tear live tissues because the live nail fold is important to ward off microbes and prevent infection around the nail plate. Nippers must be cleaned and disinfected before use on every client, taking special care to open hinges through cleaning and disinfecting. Always maintain a sharp edge in your nipper to prevent accidental ripping and tearing into the live tissue. It is important that you learn to correctly use the nail nippers while in school. To use nippers, hold your thumb around one handle and 3 fingers around the other with the blades facing the nail plate. Your index finger is placed on the box joint to help control the blade and guide it properly. Tweezers are multitask implements for lifting small bits of debris from the nail plate, retrieving and placing nail art, removing implements from disinfected solutions, and much more. They must be properly cleaned and disinfected before use on every client because they may come in contact with the client's skin or nails. They must be stainless steel to allow disinfection after use. You never want, tweezers that are of a different material, because if they're not, like they're plastic, that's not going to be as good. You want the stainless steel because that's the best quality. Okay, so the other did you know box on here says a cosmetologist practicing all nail procedures, full or part-time, will need at least 3 separate sets of quality stainless steel implements in order to always have a completely clean and disinfected set ready. 1 set is in the disinfectant, 1 is being used on the client, and the other is ready to be used. By having a set of implements ready, you will not have the clients wait for the disinfectant process. So that is that. Know that it takes approximately 20 minutes to properly clean and disinfect implements after each use, and that's why you always want to keep it going on a cycle. So if you try to rush it, you're going to put yourself and your client at risk for an infection, and also if you keep your client waiting, it's unlikely they're going to come back to you. So the next one is we're all familiar with. These are nail clippers. Typically, we did not use nail clippers in the my cosmetology school. My teacher preferred nail nippers, but you can use nail clippers. They shorten free edge quickly and efficiently. If your client's nails are too long, clipping them will save you filing time, because theoretically you could file, but it will be there. You'll be there till the cows come home. So you clip it to make it easier and quicker. Clip the nails from each side to prevent stress, damage to the sides of the nail plates, and then file the shape to the nail. Nail clippers must be properly cleaned and then disinfected before each use on every client. These implements must be stainless steel to be disinfected. Now for our disposable implements. Brushes and applicators. Any brush or applicator that comes in contact with a client's nail or skin during a manicure and pedicure must be properly cleaned and disinfected before use on a client. If implements cannot be properly cleaned and disinfected according to your state's regulations, they must be disposed of after each use. Wooden pusher. Your wooden pusher is used to remove cuticle tissue from the nail plate, to clean under the free edge of the nail, or to apply products. Hold the stick as you would a pencil, with the tip at a 20 to 30 degree angle from the nail plate while pushing the cuticle free. It is a single-use implement that is not intended for reuse or disinfection. Apply nail products by completely wrapping the end of the stick with a small piece of cotton and placing or dipping the cotton tip into the product. If the cotton tip is dipped into the product, enough must be retrieved for the entire application. If more product is needed, the cotton on your wooden pusher must be changed to prevent contamination of the product. Using products that have spout lids can shorten the time in the application. The spout must not touch the cotton tip, nail plate, or the skin. Nail brush. This is going to be a plastic implement. It's going to look like a little scrubber, and you'll go like this. This is used in many ways during nail services. Clients use a nail brush when they arrive at the salon and perform the hand washing procedure. Technicians use a nail brush for hand washing between clients. Nail brushes are also used during manicure to remove debris from the nail plate. Finally, and very importantly, nail brushes are used to scrub implements clean before disinfection. Application brushes, oh, sorry, I forgot that. What is it? With nail brushes. So, it's up to the salon's choice if you want your nail brushes that are reused or disposed after single use. To prevent cross-contamination, nail brushes must be cleaned fresh for each client. They must be disinfected between services, throw away after use, or sent home with the client. Many salons fund a resource for inexpensive nail brushes so the brushes can be disposed of or sent home with the client. This eliminates the time and effort needed for disinfection, and it eliminates the need for a larger disinfection container and the container space it would occupy. It also saves increased cost of disinfection solution for the brush disinfection process. So what that's saying is everyone always asks, well, why do we have the nail brush just you throw it out? No, if you have your own nail brush, you're not going to throw out your own. What it becomes a problem with is that you have to disinfect it. So for example, if you have a plastic nail brush with nylon bristles, it's going to be very difficult to clean that effectively if you have a lot of them. So what some high-end nail salons will do is they'll take that brush and they'll send it home with the client. So, oh, hey, as an extra bonus, we'll give you like the nail brush to take home. It's just like when we're doing the service with when you're doing the makeup application, you have the sponge. You're not going to clean the sponge and reuse it. You're going to give it with the client. So typically you'll give it with the client, send it home with them. If they ask, we can just give it to them. Some clients even bring in their own, which is great if they've given it to them before. Some sustainable salons do that. So that's just something to be mindful of if you're a business owner or going to become one. The next type of implement that's disposable is an application brush that can be used to apply nail oils, nail polish, or nail treatments to the client's nails. It's recommended you purchase inexpensive or readily available package of disposable application brushes to apply products that can support bacterial growth. Dip enough of the product from the container for your entire application during the application brush, or pour enough product for the full application into a clean Dappen dish and dip the application brush into this dish throughout your application. Again, these brushes must be disposed of after use on one client. Typically, I don't know because I don't know what really goes on in the nail salon. I have to ask, but typically from what I've heard, I've had students tell me that they don't get these disposable brushes, they just pull it off the shelf. It's probably what the real world does, but typically you have to know that you got to be sanitary about this. What else? An exception to the single-use rule is made for brushes that are used in products that are not capable of harboring or supporting growth of bacteria, such as alcohol, nail polish, monomers and polymers, UV gels, nail primers, dehydrators, bleaches, and so forth. Just answered my own question or wonder. So, like OCD clients, I had a client that was asking if bacteria can grow in color or nail polish. You got bigger problems if it can, it doesn't. So if you're using them on stuff that will not harbor growth, it's safe. What I'll do is I'll give you your 5-minute break here. We'll come back, we'll finish up with application brush, and we'll go from there.